And earlier today, I spoke to the grandson of the Maharaja, the last Maharaja of the erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, who signed the instrument of accession. That was Hari Singh. His grandson, Vikramaditya Singh, spoke to me on his reaction and perceptions on ground after the abrogation of Article 370 and how it was upheld by the Supreme Court today. As the historic verdict of the Supreme Court on Article 370 has come to the fore, joining us at the moment is Mr. Vikramaditya Singh, grandson of the last Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir, Hari Singh. Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for speaking to us. We are speaking at a historic time after the Supreme Court has upheld the decision to abrogate Article 370. You have said that it reflects the culmination of the ongoing process of integration, something that the court has also observed. Do you think that the accession has finally come full circle now?
Thank you for having me on your channel. I would like to welcome the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court today. I think this whole process was long overdue, but nonetheless, it's happened over several years, and several amendments were also passed in the Constitution over the years that were working towards the final integration of Jammu and Kashmir. This has also ended speculation about what next. A lot of people in my state were wondering, okay, after 2019, what are the various steps? What do they have look forward to? And this judgment has also made it very clear that the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir will be restored sooner than later, followed by elections, which will again set forward the pace for the democratic process. So I think we have a lot to look forward to. And yes, I think if Maharaja Hari Singh had been alive today, he would have been happy to see this day and to hear this judgment today.
Right. You've also expressed hope that, the statehood, as you rightly mentioned, can be restored soon and elections held. Now, with this deadline of September 2024, is this a feasible one? There are questions, of course, relating to the security environment that, of course, time and again have come up in elections in the past. And do you think, how soon do you see this election really taking place on ground?
See, that is not a call that you and I can take or anybody in the state can take. That is for the Election Commission and for the Ministry of Home to decide. Security concerns are very real, very genuine. At the same time, you cannot defer the process of elections beyond a reasonable frame of time. So that is a decision that Election Commission will take and put forward, and only then we can move ahead with this process.
Right. Now, after the court's observations upholding the abrogation and saying that Article 370 was a temporary one, we've seen leaders of the Gupkar alliance like Omar Abdullah saying that the struggle will continue, quote unquote. How do you see the opposition to what has happened in the courts coming in from the Kashmir Valley leaders?
See, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, the thought process and the line that the party leaders in the valley have taken has been very clear right from the beginning. They have not supported the Constitution of India. They have not wanted to move forward with the integration of Jammu and Kashmir with India, and they have not recognized the fact that Article 370 was a temporary provision. In fact, quite on the contrary, they have made the people of Jammu and Kashmir believe over decades and decades that the whole process of special status of Jammu and Kashmir and Article 370 was a process that would take Jammu and Kashmir towards an independent or a further state within a state with a separate constitution and a separate flag. Therefore, the public itself, the whole thought process had been not correctly put forward. I mean, these things have only started coming out in the public domain now, that these were temporary provisions, and also what is becoming very clear now that under the umbrella of these temporary provisions of special status and 370, what was all the eroding of the institutions, the corruption, the money laundering, and the handful of people who were controlling all this in J&K, what is it that was actually going on? What has been the pace of development in any of the field? What has been the pace of infrastructure work in healthcare, in education? So all these things are now coming into public domain, and the people are actually looking forward to moving ahead and forgetting that part and that period of Jammu and Kashmir. and moving on with the rest of the country and the rest of the world.
Right. It's interesting that you say that, because even Ghulam Nabi Azad, who of course has quit the Congress party, as we know, over differences, and has criticized the party also in the past. Now, even he has said that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are not happy with the verdict, and that, quote unquote, it will hurt our region's economy. So how do you see this kind of reaction happening? And do you agree with him when he says that the local reaction to this has, not been one of happiness?
See, I'm not surprised by what he's saying, but it's the point that I was making, that if you have, over the period of several decades, you have made the local population feel or believe a certain thing, and what is happening on ground is actually completely different, obviously there's going to be a certain level of disappointment. But having said that, I think after today's judgment, it's very clear that we have a way forward, we have something to look forward to. And look at all the infrastructure development, look at all the economic development. I mean, these are things that are taking time. Yes, they should have been done at a much faster pace, I agree, after 2019. But certain things are not possible to do. There were several Indian laws that were not applicable in J&K. To make sure those things have happened and then things move in that direction, to make sure that the mindset of the bureaucrats change, the systems change, the pillars, the institutional pillars that had been eroded over several years are rebuilt, strengthened. These things take time, so you can't expect sudden change to happen after 29 and then starts criticizing the government of India.
Right. And also, sir, when you had quit the Grand Old Party last year, you had said that your position on critical issues vis-a-vis Jammu and Kashmir, which reflect national interest, do not align with that of the Congress party. Today, how do you see the party's response on the significance of Kashmir's integration?
I am not aware of what the party's response is. All I'd like to say is that I want to send a message to the youth of Jammu and Kashmir, which is extremely important. I mean, leaving the politics and the politicians aside, I think this is a unique opportunity that the people, the youngsters and the youth of Jammu and Kashmir have got to move forward, to look forward to a new Kashmir, a new Jammu, which is part of the democratic process, to enjoy the rights and the benefits of the Indian citizens. And yes, by all means, be proud of your regional legacy and your regional identity, but at the same time, be prouder of being part of India. I mean, look at our brothers and sisters living in POJK. Look at what the youth and the public there, which was erstwhile princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, are going through. Look at the freedom and the benefits you have in our country. So let's look forward, let's have a positive mindset, and let's not regress into people who are just wanting to hold back development and growth.
Right. It's interesting you mentioned the freedoms and the opportunities that there are for youth. What, in your view, is the biggest change that you've seen on ground? A lot has been spoken about central government schemes being implemented, about reservations now coming in. And in fact, even as we speak, there's been a discussion in the parliament as well, amendments as far as reservations that are being provided. The security situation, many say, has changed with the kind of numbers and violence coming down drastically. What's the one big thing, in your view, post 370 that has changed in Jammu and Kashmir?
I think there are several things. I think there is a recognition of the clarity of the situation now. So those handful of people who used to keep talking about Azadi or keep talking about the special status have now realized that no, we are part and parcel of the Indian constitution and the Indian state. And if we have to move forward, we have to move forward together. B, all the educational institutions that have come in, with be it IIM, be it IITs, be it AIMS, these are very hopeful and positive development for the youngsters over there. They have proper educational facilities, medical facilities. There is also talk about investment flowing into the tourism sector. The government is taking very active measures in the field of horticulture in terms of setting up cold storages and other facilities. We are also looking forward to finally the railways reaching Kashmir Valley, which is going to be another historic step. which was something that was envisioned during Maharaja Pratap Singh's time, and it has taken, all this time to happen. So there are several things. The highway from Jammu to Kashmir is coming up. If you see the number of flights coming into Kashmir Valley, into Jammu, you see the airport development works that are happening. So there is a lot going on. It is just that we cannot stick to this old political regressive steps of saying that our freedom is taken away and this is just a temporary measure, and I don't agree with that. I think this is all happening for the positive, but yes, the change will come, the change will take some time. It is not going to happen overnight.
Right. Also, do you feel that this government is now in a position to successfully address the question of the rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits post the court's observations?
Yes, absolutely. Why should it not? It's also a lot for the Kashmiri Pandit community to see how they want to go forward to it. Please don't forget that the migration of the Kashmiri Pandits and the genocide that happened almost 30 years ago. There is a whole new generation of youngsters who have moved on. So when you talk about rehabilitation, rehabilitation in terms of representation, absolutely, in terms of rights, in terms of votes, yes, but if you expect a lot of them to move their lives back to Kashmir Valley, I don't see that happening very actively. So we have to define what you mean by rehabilitation. People have moved on, their lives have moved on. But yes, absolutely, we need to actively see what else can we do to secure their position in today's new rising Jammu and Kashmir. And also you talked about what are the visible changes, the rights to women, which were not equal to other rights in J&K until before 2019. The Pahadi reservations, the tribal reservations, these are all things that have come into effect now. So that is going to be another huge vote bank and another lot of people who's getting representation.
Right, but you said that you don't see them actively returning to the Kashmir Valley soon in the context of Kashmiri Pandits. Why do you say that? Is it because of the security challenges that still exist on ground, or something else?
There is a combination of security challenge and also the fact that their lives have moved on. What do they have? What are you coming back to? Are you going to, if you have to be willing to restart your lives, the younger generation, my kids, for instance, who are in their late 20s or 30s, I don't see them changing their lifestyle and moving back to Kashmir Valley. Or a lot of them are doing very well now. They are well settled. They moved on.
Right.
Right. But yes, absolutely, they have the right to come back and reclaim their inherited properties, ancestral properties, and start a life if they want. That option should be available to them.
Right, right. Mr. Vikramaditya Singh, if I can also ask you, of course, we've talked about the Kashmir Valley parties, but today as well, we're seeing, comments coming in from leaders like Mr. Omar Abdullah referring to what he's calling, quote unquote, house arrest. And, there's a comment, aisi taisi democracy, etc., that he has made. The question that keeps arising time and again is this political vacuum that exists in Jammu and Kashmir. Of course, the court themselves saying that they expect the elections to happen by next year. But this repeated, narrative that has been put about democracy not existing in Jammu and Kashmir. How do you look at it?
See, I don't agree with that. That is, I don't want to make any personal comments on what Omar Abdullah is saying or what anybody else is saying. But yes, there is a leadership vacuum. There are new faces, younger people, people with a new mindset that need to come into politics. The problem is that the political parties in J&K also keep fielding the same old faces that have lost 2-3 times. They need to put up younger faces with a new mindset to politics so that they can actually contribute. This business of, the same old people running from the same old constituencies, it's too much now. There has to be a complete revamp in the way elections are fought and the faces that come forward. There's a whole bunch of new, young, dynamic, educated youngsters out there who think very differently. These are the kids who need to be given a chance to come forward, not the same old people. We have to change our mindset as far as elections is concerned.
Right, very interesting, because that was going to be my next question. In fact, how do you look at the political and administrative future of Jammu and Kashmir in this emerging scenario? What would be your guess and what would you like to see happen? Of course, you mentioned young faces and fresh blood coming in, but how do you see things developing from here on?
I think it is all for the positive. It is a matter of participation. We have to tell people, like I said, the message has to go clearly to the youth, both in the Jammu region and in Kashmir Valley, that you need to actively participate in the democratic process. When elections are not happening, you sit back and criticize. When the elections are happening, you are saying these are not democratic elections, therefore I'm not going to take part. So you can't have it both ways. By all means, be actively focused and participate in what you believe in. Let go of the old mindset and the regressive and mindset of the politicians in Jammu and Kashmir. We need to move on. It's extremely important that we move on. And this is the time to do it. This is a huge opportunity for the youth in Jammu and Kashmir.
So when you say we've got to move on, do you think the suggestion of Justice Call, for instance, that there should be a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, is that a practical suggestion, one that should be implemented in your view?
I believe it is. It's been talked about for a long time. I don't know why no work has been done in this field, but yes, I think Justice Call does have a point, and it is something which is long overdue.
All right, Vikramaditya Singh, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us here at Times Now.